Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Simply Colorful FiberCast. Today's date is February 13th, 2015. My name is Lynn Marquidant, and I'm your host. Happy day before Valentine's Day, everyone. You can see I've put a heart over my shoulder. That's about as vibrant as we are here in the Simply Colorful studio, or as vibrant as we have, given I'm working on a brown quilt right now for our mystery. But welcome, and we're on to clue 3 of our mystery. I hope everyone's doing well. Grab a project. I'm going to be sewing on clue 3 here in the studio. I hope you'll sew with me. As always, send me email, say hello, show us pictures of what you're working on, lmarquidant@gmail.com, or you can post on Google or on our Facebook page. Let's just have fun, because you know what we say? It's amazing what we can get done in 60 minutes. So let's get started. I don't know about you, but I'm as curious, and I know the end product, but I'm so curious what these are going to make. I hope that you're curious about the mystery quilt too. Clue 3, I've downloaded, and we're going to make a bunch of units, and I've actually literally cut all of my units for clue 3 literally in less than an hour. So that's how few pieces there are for clue 3. And you'll notice that we actually sew some of the units from clue 1 together to make that pinwheel that's behind me. So I thought what I would do first is, let's go through what I cut. I cut units for 3A. So I cut 24 2.5 inch by 4.5 inch units from my fabric A. And this is where I was getting a little confused, because on my prototype, my lighter fabric was my fabric A, but on this one, my darker fabric is my fabric A. So I'm having to remember that. But anyway, I have all of my pieces of fabric A, and then my scraps, or fabric C, if you're doing it less scrappy, I had to cut out 24 2.5 inch by 4 inch. Then unit 3B, I cut 6 4.5 by 4.5, again out of fabric A, and my fabric A is that brown. Then unit 3C, I cut out using AccuQuilt. So of course all the dog ears are already cut off, and I'm ready to sew all of them for all of the units. We have to make 24 of these units. And then, so as not to keep it a complete surprise, on this one, on clue 3, we end up sewing all of the pieces together to form this double monkey wrench. So I've done one, and I have 5 more of these to do. Aren't you curious how that's going to fit with everything else we've done so far? Yay! And then we'll make our pinwheels. We similarly have to make 6 of those big pinwheels. And that'll be it for clue number 3. I'm going to do chain piecing. It has been quite the couple of weeks. I cannot wait to tell you about my travels and Snowmageddon here in the Northeast. So I'm first going to do unit 3As. I'm going to sew all of those together and then iron them. And then I'll do all of my half square triangles, and then we'll put it together. And I have plenty of other things. We'll do the pinwheels. We have plenty of things to get done. And I am loving the size of this quilt, because it's going along quickly, and it's pretty satisfying. I'm really looking forward to having it on my bed. It's fun to be making a quilt for one particular purpose. Who's out there? Oh, Lorna is on the road to Arizona for her mother-in-law's birthday tomorrow. She says, have a great FiberCast. Love everyone's pictures of the work. Such talented people. She says, have a great weekend, everyone. You too, Lorna. That's great. Hopefully you don't have the snow. Of course you don't out there. Oh, Marquet is here showing her progress so far. Hi, Marquet. It's loading. She says hello to you. And to all of the ladies, where it's a very cold evening of 28 degrees here in the Eastern Mountains, it's a good night to sit and sew. I love the little monkey wrench block, so when I saw clue 3 this morning, I got started right away cutting my pieces so I could sew with you and the gals. Oh, that's perfect. I have all of clue 3 cut, and after tonight, hope to have them done. Perfect. My clue 2 is not cut just yet. Was going to wait until clue 4 is released so that I can keep working on blocks because I may have not gotten enough white. That's very smart, Marquet. I should, but just in case, I'm playing it safe. No fabric stores in my town. Great. She says, well, I've enjoyed looking at all the pictures and want to say thank you for what I think is going to be a very pretty quilt. Have a great weekend, everyone. Here are 2 pics taken a little earlier. Ah, love this. I'm going to show it. And so Marquet is doing the red and white. I'd love to see if you put together a monkey wrench block while we're sewing tonight. Send it over and we can show it to everyone. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Sharon and Christy and Louise. Oh, and Carol. Hi, everyone. I've put my stitch down to 2 for this. This Bernina always open, when I turn it on, it always defaults to 2.4 inches. And I find that's just too long a stitch for what I like. I like a little bit tighter. Oh, and I just heard a message come in. Let's see who this is. Oh, it's Karen. Hi. She says, I'm so happy to see you at home in the studio. She says, hi to everyone. Thank you all for keeping me company on this Friday night. Thank you for keeping us company. Is it as cold in Pennsylvania as it is here in Massachusetts? The wind chill was below 0, I believe. Bob said to me this morning that this is the first day in a week that he has not shoveled. So if Judy's out there, I wanted to tell you that you're right. The visions of sand and ocean are but a distant memory already. It has been, can I tell you guys about my week? So, we got back from St. Martin. Everyone knows we went to St. Martin and had a lovely time. We arrived back last Saturday night, about 11. Sunday was a good day. I did laundry. I repacked my bags. I got ready to go. What else did I do? I might have taken a walk. I can't really remember. It's all a blur. Late Sunday afternoon, I got an email saying that with the big snowstorm that was coming in on Monday, my flight was canceled. And I was supposed to take a flight on Monday morning, this Monday morning, to Sacramento, California. So I, of course, then and I had to be out in Sacramento for a meeting for Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. It was an annual planning meeting. So really, it wasn't something that I could reschedule. It wasn't something that I could send someone else to. It was our annual planning meeting, and we only do it once a year, and we had a lot of things to go through, and I needed to be there. So I spent 4 hours on the phone with my travel agent, waiting on hold, because of course everyone else who was leaving out of Boston was doing the same thing. Finally got them on the line. They proceeded to, they couldn't get me out until Tuesday afternoon. And they gave me that reservation, and then through the course of talking, and I think I may have called them back again, they ended up canceling that reservation. So then when I called back again, I had no way to get out there. And I really thought at that point that I was going to have to not go. So I slept on it, and then I woke up, as I usually do, very early, as you all know, and I took the dog out, and then I went onto the couch here in Boston, at home, and I went and I did some Google searching, and I saw that first off, Logan was not closed, which is our airport, and second, there were a few carriers that had not canceled all of their flights. So I decided to pack my bags and go into Logan without a ticket, and I just went to one of the carrier's counters. And by this time, I'd already gotten approval from my boss to spend more money and bought myself a ticket. Well, the only ticket I could get was supposed to leave at around 2 on Monday afternoon and go through Detroit, Salt Lake City, and then up to Sacramento. So it's going to be Boston, Detroit, Salt Lake City, Sacramento. And I was supposed to arrive in Sacramento at 11 o'clock on Monday night. Well, of course, between de-icing and scheduling all of the flights to leave Logan out of the one runway that was still open, I was delayed, and I was still in Logan at 5 p.m. And my connection in Detroit to Salt Lake City was at 7, and there was no way I was going to make that. So I called the travel agency again, and they said, nope, there's nothing out of Detroit. You're going to have to spend the night there. I was this close to not going, and I went up to the travel agent at the gate, and she looked at my record, and she said, well, when you came up a few hours ago and we talked about contingencies, we apparently put a placeholder for you to go directly to San Francisco from Detroit when you land. It's all a mystery to me, this whole airline scheduling. I must admit, you just have to keep pushing at it. There are just so many options, and there are computers working around. And anyway, I ended up flying to Detroit, literally walked from gate like A8 to A11, got onto the plane, ended up landing in San Francisco at midnight. And while I was sitting on the tarmac, I called Sacramento and got my rental car down in San Francisco. So I picked up my rental car at midnight, drove to Sacramento. I got there around 2. Luckily, I'd made changes to my hotel. I slept a few hours. Of course, my luggage did not arrive. So I got there in time for the meeting. That was a plus. Went to the meeting in the clothes that I had traveled across the country in. Luckily, they had toiletries, basic toiletries right there at the hotel. And we went through day 1. We went out to eat with partners, and it was a full day all in those same clothes. Meanwhile, I'd called the carrier who said, yep, they found my bag in San Francisco. Just because the connection had been so fast, there was no way that my bag followed. So they assured me, of course, it'll be there tonight. This was Tuesday morning. Well, go through again all the Tuesday meetings, get back to my hotel Tuesday night, no bag. So I had to go do day 2 in the same clothes that I had gone out on the airplane in. Had a great meeting. At the end of the day, so in the end, I was there for the meeting, and it's okay that I was wearing the same clothes. I had very forgiving teammates, and ended up coming back yesterday morning, doing a couple of layovers, and then, no, one layover. Oh, so I left Sacramento, went to Dallas, and that's where we were delayed because there were delays coming into Boston. So I came into Boston, I got back here last night at around 10 o'clock. And that was my trip to the West Coast. And boy, so after all that detail that I'm sure you didn't really need to know, the moral of the story is life is hard. But if you just take it one step at a time, and you can get through anything. And in the end, it wasn't that bad, and I'm glad I did it. Of course, I had to. It's my job. I hope everyone else. Oh, and we're facing yet another blizzard tomorrow here in the Boston area. I have never seen snowbanks like this since I don't even think they were this high in the blizzard of 78, because I remember my parents had a Volkswagen Rabbit, and I remember it being covered, and they just gotten a new one. It was a pretty, really, really, really light green. And I remember during the blizzard that it basically got covered up in the snow. The snow banks out there are higher than the top of my Jeep in our driveway. I've never seen anything like it. And I know many people are having water issues and ice damming issues. And I just heard someone is out there. Oh, and Jean. Hello, Jean, welcome. She says she's tuning in late. Sarah had a basketball game and then she got asked to prom. Oh, congratulations. That's exciting. Oh, that gives me goosebumps. How fun is that? Will you make her dress? Oh, isn't that fun? Actually, I bet people don't make prom dresses too much anymore. The program that I know, Jean, you've worked on and I've seen in our community, and I'm maybe in other communities, that I think is such a good idea, is the whole prom dress exchange. They should do that with wedding dresses. Maybe that's not good superstition, or people are superstitious, but why not? Well, welcome. I hope you're working on something fun, anticipating the snowstorm. We were just talking about water. I have to get out tomorrow morning before it starts snowing again here and shovel off. We have a little balcony here at the Simply Colorful studio. That's where I am, by the way. You all know that, right? And it's flat, and it's only, maybe 8 feet by 8 feet. And I shoveled it on Sunday. And then when I left on Monday, it's got another probably 18 inches on it, and I need to get that off before tomorrow's snow. So we're going to have a Valentine's Day storm. And I'm sorry things aren't more red around here. I did hang up behind me that dark red is going to be the back of this quilt. So I thought that was a little bit of a homage to Valentine's Day. Having just gone away on vacation and splurged on all sorts of things, Bob and I hope, have agreed that we're not doing much other than hanging out together tomorrow for Valentine's Day. I told him I wouldn't feel guilty about not getting him flowers and candy if he didn't. But if the truth be told, in all of the years I've been with Bob, and every year I've said that same thing, and every year he has gotten me flowers. Spoiled rotten. He gave me a little talking to last week when we were down in St. Martin. Apparently, this is kind of funny. I hope you guys think this is funny. I did. Apparently, when we were out there at the back of La Vista at St. Martin, and he had the iPad, and he had scoped out the perfect spot for me to do my hexies. I said to him, "Thank you. I'm only going to do this for 7 or 8 minutes. I just want to say hi, show people the ocean, have them hear it, and be done." Well, of course, then I got into sewing the hexies and talking to you all and having so much fun that it ended up being half an hour. And at the end of half an hour, and I kept thinking Bob was going to pan around and show you other parts of where we were, but he didn't, because I guess the sun was in the wrong place. So I kept trying to give him clues to move the camera. Anyway, he said after 30 minutes, he said, my arms were killing me because he was regulating how he was breathing in and out, and he was holding the iPad so steadily for a whole half hour. Oh, he is a saint. So, but I really, really, really had not picked up a needle in so long, and I was just so enjoying it. Just like I'm enjoying this. I haven't been at my table in 2 weeks. And do you know, I'm all done with Unit 3A. I'm loving seeing the pictures of everyone's progress and how those of you who have gotten the Quilt are as pleased with it as I am. Isn't it amazing? Oh, who's there? Oh, hi, Maureen. She says it's a chilly 5 degrees in PA. Watching tonight keeps my mind off it. No kidding. Wow. I hope you have heat inside. See more. I'm now going over to Google. Oh, 5 degrees. Unbelievable. I have to tell you, in Sacramento, once I finally got there, it was lovely. Northern California, there is just something about the weather in Northern California. It was 65 degrees. It wasn't even that sunny. But it was dry air, and you could walk outside without a jacket. We ended up going to an arcade in between days, and it was more like an adult bar arcade. And I'd never seen this, but there was a big screen, probably as big as my board behind me, a computer screen, and you could stand up and play Pac-Man against each other on this big screen. That was pretty cool. Oh, my goodness. So now I'm just again chain piecing my half square triangles. I'm mixing up my neutrals, which is for my scraps. With these AccuQuilt dies, I think I've said it a few times before, is they're kind of tricky to buy the right sizes. And there are different ways to buy the same size. In fact, I believe that, or I know that this particular die that I'm using, and I meant to have it nearby me, but is actually 1/2 inch too big. So I need to trim all these. Not ideal, believe me. Don't do as I did. I guess, though, when I discovered that, like at 7:45 tonight before we went on, I thought at least we went too big and not too small, right? What else have I been up to? I listened to my Adam Carolla all the way home yesterday. I downloaded a whole week's worth of his podcasts. Funny. He did a spoof. He and Rainn Wilson, who is on that new show called Backstrom. He's like a detective. He kind of reminds me of Columbo from years ago. You know, and to tell you the truth, I've never seen the show. I've only seen the little trailers and heard what he talked about on the Adam Carolla show. But anyway, his name is Rainn Wilson, and he was on The Office. He was the quirky guy on The Office. And apparently he and Adam were comparing notes about friends, couples that, you know, they were talking about how, you know, we all have such good intentions to get together with couple friends. And at the end of the day, between work and family, children, and obligations and things that are just already scheduled in our lives, we all do an awful lot more talking about getting together with other couples than actually doing it. I know it's true with Bob and me. And so anyway, Rainn Wilson, one celebrity, and Adam Carolla were both lamenting about this. And they both said they had a list of these couples. It turns out there was one person that was on both of their lists. So they got, and I did not recognize the name of this person, but it was someone out in LA, someone probably in the business. And so Adam and Rainn decided to have a competition and call this person separately and invite him to dinner on February 20th, I think, the same date, and see what he would do and who he would choose. So they had a competition to see who he would choose to go out with. And it was a hoot. Rainn called first, then Adam called, and the person they called was incredibly gracious and didn't commit to the second. You know, Rainn asked him to come out on February 20th, so check your calendar. And then he said, someone is at the door, I have to call you back. Then Adam called and said, hey, buddy, let's go out on the 20th. And the person he was talking to said, well, Rainn, you won't believe this. Rainn, who I haven't talked to in years, just called me and asked me and my wife to go out on the very same day. He was just incredulous. You know, he just couldn't believe all the coincidences. So Adam tries to talk him into, you can just tell Rainn, give Rainn an excuse, yada, yada. But the guy kept his integrity. And in the end, Adam and Rainn called him back and told him the spoof. And he had a feeling because it was just too coincidental. Anyway, it made me laugh. We were supposed to have our Textile Tarts Valentine's Day get together tomorrow afternoon, but it's been postponed because of the snow. So hi to any textile tarts that might be out there. I have to tell you, this is great fun. Does everyone remember the Dr. Seuss story with Thing 1 and Thing 2? And how they wear the shirts with the big circle, and it has Thing 1 and Thing 2. Well, when I was in St. Martin, I found 2 T-shirts for Karen and me. It says Sister 1 and Sister 2. So KB, if you're out there still, next time we do FiberCast together, we'll have to see if we can sport those. 2 more. Okay. Let's give them all a good setting of the seams. Okay. Now I think I'm going to actually cut them all apart. Okay. I've been ironing toward my dark color. At the end of the day, that will work on this quilt. It's not imperative that you iron things any which way. There are relatively fewer seams on this quilt, of course, because our pieces are much bigger. Oh, and I'm dying to see those of you who are going to do a half size quilt, either by reducing the size of these squares or just reducing the actual overall size. That will be fun to see. Oh, so crisp. And I must say, I did not wash this dark brown fabric this time. I washed the red that I made for the prototype. But this one, I just figure I'll quilt it, or I may ask Christine or Kelsey to quilt this one and then just shrink it up. It'll have a more crinkly look, and I'm fine with that. Because again, this is for our bed so that Allie, our black-haired lab, can keep sleeping with us. Poor thing, her hip hurts her so bad. We've been giving her glucosamine and chondroitin tablets. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? On some of our next FiberCasts, I'm going to get us some music. I think that would be fun, just to mix things up a little bit. So here we are, and I think what I'm going to have to do is not put any of these together, because it turns out, like I said, that these ended up being 5 inches instead of 4.5. So I literally have to trim all of these before I put them together with these. So for now, let's look at the monkey wrench again. There's the unit, and tomorrow I'll make all 6 of them, and I'll post a picture so you can see them. But I have plenty more still to work on. My units from 1A, the ones that I need, 45 of them? I only have 2. So let's put this aside. And let us do the pinwheels, if I can find those. Isn't that funny? I had them put somewhere very especially. Well, you know what I'm going to do then? I'm going to see who's out there. And then I'm going to do string piecing. I think that is a perfect thing after this long week. But first, let's see who else is out there. Hey, speaking of Northern California, hello, Elline, sorry. Finally can work on your mystery, still deciding on fabric, she says. Hi, she says, just can't make up my mind. She has found some fish, dolphin, and shells on blues, and I have a wow with shells. Oh, need to find another water or something fishy fabric to add, and I might have enough to start. That sounds great. But that will have to wait till after FiberCast. I can't hear you from the fabric storage area. Oh, no. By the way, send us some of that snow. It's only rained here less than a week total all winter. I know. I would if I could. Man, we just got approval to put the dirty snow even into Boston Harbor. I think, now I didn't read that. I heard them talk about that on the van home last night. Do you know there were 10 of us in the shuttle van leaving Logan Airport to come out to the western part of the state, or, you know, the suburb. That was quite a long trip home when you have to deliver 10 people, and the snowbanks were up on either side. So we'll definitely, if I could send you snow, I would. And I have been hearing about the drought conditions, and I saw it firsthand. So hopefully that Pineapple Express that you keep getting, or that you sometimes get, can keep coming in. Patty in Texas, hello. She says she's packing a trip for Arctic PA. Ooh, my granddaughter's having surgery on the 16th. That's right. Isn't she doing her tonsils? She get a lot of ice cream. I seem to remember that. I've packed all my warm clothes and my hexies. Oh, good. She's now gathering up cords for all of my electronics, going to bed because I have to get up at 1 a.m. to make my flight to Baltimore. It's 59 degrees tonight. Oh, that's perfect down in Texas. She says, oh, do you have a web page on or Facebook? Could you tell more? Got to run happy sewing. Of course. So first off, have a great trip. If you're still on, safe travels. Good luck to your granddaughter. And she's lucky that you'll be there. Let's see. We do have a website, and it's called simplycolorful.com. And it's not very fancy, but it's where I've been posting the clues and links to the FiberCasts and my blog, although I haven't blogged lately. So it's simplycolorful.com. Then on Facebook, there are 2 places to go. And this is kind of important and a little confusing, I must admit. There's a Simply Colorful Facebook page. There's also a Simply Colorful, and that Facebook page, I've actually set it up so that I can post to it and you can post to it. I think in some cases only the administrator will post to it, but I kind of opened it up. It doesn't matter to me. So that's on Facebook, facebook.com/simplycolorful. Then the second place on Facebook, now I bet I've confused everyone. There's a Simply Colorful Mystery Quilt Along page. And that's a group, that's a member group. It's open to everyone. Go to that. In fact, it's at the bottom of every clue is the link to that. Well, the bottom of every clue is the link to the website, which is simplycolorful.com. And then the very last page of every clue has the address for the quilt along. So it's literally www.facebook.com/groups/ all one word that is Simply Colorful Mystery Quilt Along. So go there and I think you're going to love that because everyone's been posting their pictures and it's so fun to see. The bright colors, the black and white that Joyce is working on, the reds and whites, the pink and whites, the bubblegum beautiful pinks, and of course the greens and whites from down under. It's It's going to be so fun. I can't tell you how fun this is to see people working on the same design. I think it's going to be, I think you're going to like seeing all of the finished quilts together. So safe travels, Patty, and sleep well if you can sleep. I don't know if you're like me, the night before I go traveling, I don't sleep well at all. Oh, Renee. Hi. She says, my back has been acting up. Can't sit for too long. Oh, first, I'm sorry to hear about your back. That stinks. Then she says, but on the good news side, she got a go. Best investment I ever made. Oh, and you won a bike? Oh my goodness. She also won a bike and she's picking that up on Monday. Oh my goodness, this is a good, your back is going to stop hurting because of all these fun things. So Renee, she got herself a go-cutter. She won herself a bike. She's leaving for a cruise next Friday. She's very excited and she'll send pictures. Oh, please do. We definitely are going to need some warm up. Hope you don't get too much more snow. Stay safe and warm. I will. And you too, enjoy. Stretch your back. You know what to do with your back. I'm sorry. But I'm so glad to hear from you. In a cruise, I'm assuming it's Caribbean because you're down toward Florida area, right? But send pictures. Agatha, welcome. Norma, hi. It's loading. Oh, I think Norma sent us pictures. This is good. She says, I can't get to watch tonight until later because my oldest daughter is here for a visit. But here's a pic of what I have got done so far. Oh my goodness. Check this out. Norma, that looks just like mine. Ooh, I even like your white better though. It has more of I forget what's on there. Oh, it's holly leaves. No, it's just little flower leaves. Love that. Oh, well, have fun with your daughter and keep sending pictures. Quilting Warehouse, hi. Hi to the Quilting Warehouse. Oh, and Agatha said she's just started the Dear Jane quilt and she got the book and DVDs for Christmas. Oh, that's great. You're going to have so much fun with that. I bet we'll do a few nights of Dear Jane after the mystery quilt's done. Isn't that so funny? Isn't that such a quilter thing to do? Look at this. We've got piles of scraps. There's still plenty more to work on the mystery, but I'm already thinking of the next quilt. But we're finishers because we get a lot done in 60 minutes here at the studio. So nice to see everyone out there. Keep on sending your notes. And I'm going to do a little more string piecing here. Before FiberCast started, I literally cut some strips. And they're random sizes. Remember there was that question 2 weeks ago about what size, what width? It doesn't matter. And I'm trying to get sort of lighter and darker together. And I'm going to reduce my stitch size. And we're off and sewing. In fact, I'm going to do something well, first off, I'm going to chain piece. There is absolutely no sense in wasting thread when you're doing this kind of sewing, right? And you'll notice my pieces are pretty big. They don't have to be that thin on this for this particular one. Aren't you curious where they're going to go? All these 45 units. I was having fun putting them up there on the board, trying to trick you. Okay. So see how long this is? I'm going to find some other longish strips like that, and then this piece right here, I'm going to cut off and use over here. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. I have hiccups. So here's this other longer piece. So in probably 6 weeks, we'll be coming to you from New Hampshire, where we are doing our quilt retreat. So I'm similarly making a long string here, and I'll show you in a minute how I'm going to use them. Because they're not quite long enough to do 2 of these. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with them. And you can do it too, and it will work fine for this mystery. See how long this one is? Okay. Hope everyone's making some good accomplishments. So see, oh no, I'm going to do one more. Okay, so I know I'm not doing a lot of talking, but I wanted to show you this. So see how long that is? I literally am going to cut about 1/4 of an inch wider than my backing here. And then literally, now I've got this piece, I'm going to use it like another strip going the other way. And I'm going to do the same here. And actually, if I'd been thinking, I would have switched it up and put this one over here, which maybe I'll still do. Talk about a type of sewing with no rules. This, it doesn't get any more freeform than this. Oh, and I have such ideas for our camper quilt. Actually, that's what I'm bringing on the retreat, is the camper quilt. And I have some ideas for that. that's really kind of free form, you know, like this, going back, kind of like the houses we've made in the past. Let's see, let's get ourselves another color here. Ooh, some blue stripies. No, see, none of that's long enough for what I want to do, so I'm going to pick this long one. Okay, so ooh, this is pretty. Check this out so far. Isn't that pretty? So on this one, similarly, I'm going to cut off basically a new piece of fabric, and then I'm literally going to sew it on this end so that we cover some real estate. And I know this isn't exactly what is on the mystery quilt, so I should probably not improvise too much. I didn't really think of that. Other than now you know that it's not imperative that all of these go the same way. You really are making 45 units of scrappy fabric that's going to be placed in your quilt. Aren't you curious? And how many of you, I think I saw someone has finished all of their units. I was surprised at how long putting these together really takes. Oh, and then I still have a little bit more here to do, so just layer this across. Definitely using extra thread. Not doing my leader ender. So that's a little different, and then I will just cut it up and trim it off. So there's one more. And like I said, I'm trying to create a lot of difference between these strips because they are all neutral there. I think I'm just going to start a new one here. Perfecto. This is that shirt, KB, I think it came from your stash. One of those shirts. That one, that pinky and purpley. Ooh, this is fun. Silvery. That fun? You know what I just discovered? When I was just sewing that on, this is a cute piece, I literally got lost in thought. It was that meditative action that happens when we're sewing. It's pretty. Let's see. Oh, this is fun, a plaid. Fun, 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 fun. Wow, I am psyched. I will have finished by the time this FiberCast is over. I will have done all of my units for the double monkey wrench, and I will have done 3 of these scrappy units. Can you believe it? How fast an hour goes. So there's number 2. Actually, whoops. I need to do one more. One more row here. And like I say, now that we don't have the textile tarts meeting tomorrow, I'll have some time in the studio, as long as I'm not out shoveling. I have to do my part. I have not been around for these storms, so I'll have to get out there and do that. But when that's done, I will be in here and I will post a picture of the pinwheels and the double monkey wrenches. And then I'll be back to making strips. There. So there's 1, 2. And let's finish this 3rd one. Ooh, coffee cups. Haven't used this one in a while. Amazing what we can get done, babies. I think we might have 1 minute left. We could call this beat the clock sewing. Ooh, this one's pretty. I like this. We haven't used this one in a while. 1 more strip. Actually, I take that back. 2 more. There's that. Here's this. Let me iron it, and I'll show you what we've got. Strip number 3. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining me for FiberCast. It's amazing what we can get done in 60 minutes. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. And I'll see you next Friday for clue number 4. Bye, everyone. Keep sending pictures. Thanks for keeping me company. Bye.